Hey everyone, Carrie Nicole with Muted Conscience. I'm jumping on here real quick. It's going to be kind of a choppy video, but I wanted to kind of read through the affidavit with you that they just released for Bryan Kohberger. And this is that creepy guy that just got arrested for the murders of the Idaho students, the University of Idaho. We have Madison, who was 21. We have Ethan, who was 20. Xana, who was 20. And Kaylee, who was 21. They were all found murdered in their housing, and I just wanted to kind of read through what we have on Bryan. And it's going to be choppy, so just bear with me. So this is the statement from Brett Payne. The below information is provided by Brett Payne, who is a duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer within the county of Lata, state of Idaho. I'm probably going to pronounce some things wrong, and that's just correct me if I'm wrong. It's fine. I want to get the information out there right now. So, Brett Payne is employed by Moscow Police Department in the official capacity or position of corporal, and has been a trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 4 years. Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of the FBI. So we're going to start into this here. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 o'clock p.m., Moscow Police Department Sergeant Blecker and I responded to 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. Hereafter, the King Road residence. To assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Smith and I walked upstairs to the second floor. Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernodle's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle's, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined, autopsy report provided by Spokane County Medical Examiner dated December 15, 2022, to be caused by sharp force injuries. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Goncalves room. I'm really bad with some names, I'm sorry. I later learned from review of Officer Noon's body camera, there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Kaylee and her ex-boyfriend, Jack. I found out from my interview with Jack on November 13th, 2022, that he and Kaylee shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bedroom on the east side of the floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogen's, hereafter Mogen, bedroom, which was situated in the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room, and both were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noted what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side when viewed from the door. In this sheath, if you've been following the case, you know that they later find out that this Bryan creep guy, he actually made some posts on Reddit, and at least the theory was at the time that he was using a fake profile, and he actually mentioned a sheath in the crime scene. Anyway, sorry, it's easy to get distracted when there's so much to this case. Okay, So the sheath was later processed and had a USMC, which is the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the button snap of the knife sheath. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI's. Two of the interviews included, we'll say BF and DM. Both BF and DM, these are other roommates, were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12, 2022, Chapin and Kernodle were seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus, which is 735 Nez Perce Drive, from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. BF also estimated that at approximately 1:45 a.m., Chapin and Kernodle returned to the King Road residence. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle, so he was staying over with his girlfriend. So, Goncalves and Mogen were at the local bar, the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. And there is video footage of this if you've been following. And here it says right here, the girls can be seen on video footage provided by Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30, the girls can be seen on the video at the local food vendor called the Grub Truck. So this was like a common place where people went to party. After partying, have some drinks with your friends, you go to this food truck and get some snacks. So this is a common place for these people to go here at this university. The Grub Truck live streams video from their food truck on the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. This video was captured by law enforcement. A private party, and it's whited out there, reported that he provided a ride to the girls at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to King Road residence. DM and BF both made statements during the interviews that indicated the occupants of King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. So there's a lot of parts in here that everyone had to be investigated. People that gave a ride, DoorDash people, roommates, everybody was being looked at this point. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Goncalves, I know I'm saying that wrong, Goncalves, playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of the records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could have also been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. So it could have been her. She was still awake. Technology shows. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened the door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice saying something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1112 King Road, picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. DM stated she opened the door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking toward her. DM described the figure as being 5'10" or a little taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. And if you've seen pictures of Bryan, this is it. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. I understand that. She was totally terrified. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. The combination of DM's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, and a video of the suspect video of a suspect video as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then aminoblack, which is a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material, if I could talk today. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans shoe sole, just outside the door of DM's bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. So everything's kind of adding up with what the other roommates that were still alive, their accounts of everything. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022 in the area of the King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspects or suspect vehicles traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. And this is real quick on another YouTuber's video. You can actually see the vehicle in the background of some news anchor's footage. And I'll try to find that and link it in the comments if you want to see that. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with the other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. So a lot of people are taking a look at these. A review of the camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue. I'm hoping I'm saying these correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appeared suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1, starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial three passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Walenta Drive. Based off of my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a fourth time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road number 52, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around on the road. The vehicle, The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate speed. So somebody's trying to get away, obviously, here. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Willenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame, I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Again, pronunciation, sorry. Palouse River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensics examiners with the FBI that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. So a lot of experience here for this guy. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 or 2013 Hyundai Elantra. So this is the Elantra that we've been following here. Upon further review, he indicated it could also be a 2011 or 2016 Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of that vehicle that is a 2011 to 2016 white Elantra. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus located in Pullman. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, 2022, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra, known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way. At approximately 2:53 a.m., a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra, known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman towards State Road 270. State Road 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. This camera footage from Pullman was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman as being a 2014 to 2016 Elantra. So they're narrowing it down there. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman and on WSU campus cameras. So this person was frequently going on campus here. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Conestoga Drive. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on State Road 270. At approximately 5:27 a.m., the white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. And then it shows a little description here. On November 25th, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Elantra in the area. On November 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:28 a.m., WSU Police Officer Daniel Tiengo queried that white Elantras registered at WSU. Excuse me. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate LFZ 8649. This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger, residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201 in Pullman, Washington. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way. Last camera location that was picked up, that was the last location that picked up the white Elantra on surveillance. That same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Elantras and located a 2015 white Elantra at 16 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car, and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. So I reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. This license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 foot and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. And I'll try to put up an image after I get this video uploaded here so we can make sure we have the same visuals here. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Further investigation, including a review of the, this will be the Latah County Sheriff's Deputy CLP Duke's body cam and reports showed that on August 21st, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho by CPL Duke. At that time, Kohberger, who was the sole occupant, was driving a white 2015 Elantra with Pennsylvania plates. And the plate was, again, LFZ 8649, which was set to expire November 30th of 2022. During a stop, which was recorded via a law enforcement body camera, Kohberger provided his phone number as, and then they whited it out hereafter, and then it says the last four of the phone number as his cellular telephone number. Investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that the 8458 phone is a number issued by AT&T. On October 14th, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as a part of a traffic stop by a WSU police officer. Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving the white Elantra with Pennsylvania plates, again, LFC 8649. So these are a lot of traffic stops. On November 18th, 2022, according to the Washington State licensing, Kohberger registered the 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received Washington plates, which are CFB 8708. Prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. That's why they didn't see one on there in the surveillance. Based on my own experience and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13th, 2022 by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. Kohberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15th, 2022 by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. He's going all over the place here. On December 16th, 2022 at approximately 2:26 p.m., surveillance showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male with a description consistent to Kohberger. I believe his dad was with him when he got pulled over in Indiana. At least on the body camera, that's what they show. Just interesting. Okay, based on the information provided on the WSU website, Kohberger is currently a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. It's all adding up here. These records also showed Kohberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in fall of 2022. Kohberger wrote in his essay he had an interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey, this is what we were talking about in the beginning, which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. And you can actually look this up. It's the questions that he asks they're just fascinating because, I mean, this guy, you wouldn't think that somebody with PhD and all this stuff would supposedly go through and do all of this. Now, he hasn't been through the system yet, like the actual court process, so we have to just supposedly, right? Okay. This is a lot. I'm glad they're finding out who actually did this. Well, as part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to King Road residents. This guy is going down. These families need justice. Okay, November 13th, 2022, between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. After determining that Kohberger was associated with both the 2015 white Elantra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed these search warrant returns. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residents between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Based on my training experience and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular phone or cell phone records as part of investigations, individuals can either leave their leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime, or turn their location off, or turn their phone off prior to going to a location to commit a crime. So really, the cell phone pinging it's hit or miss. If someone didn't have their phone on them, it doesn't help. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them was in a particular area where a crime is committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Which, real quick, I know I keep interrupting this affidavit, but looking at the pictures and listening to the descriptions of this location, this residence on King Road, there are a lot of dark areas out there. And there's kind of a woodsy area that's kind of around there too. So he had plenty of places to hide. On December 23rd, 2022, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th, 2022 at 12 a.m. and November 14th at 12 a.m. for the 8458 phone held by the phone provider AT&T. And this would be approximately 24 hours preceding and following the times of the homicide. On December 23rd, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, I received records for the 8458 phone from AT&T. These records indicated that the 8458 phone is subscribed to Bryan Kohberger at an address in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since June 23rd, 2022. These records also included historical cell site location information for the 8458 phone. After receiving this information, I consulted with an FBI special agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, or CAST. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical, and this is at CSLI, which is cell site location information. So they specialize in that and are required to pass extensive training that both includes written and practical examinations prior to being certified with CAS, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. So he's just backing up that these people know what they're doing. Additionally, the FBI CAS special agent that I consulted has had over 15 years of federal law enforcement experience, which includes 6 years with the FBI. From information provided by CAST, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from November 12th, 2022 to November 13th, 2022, the time period authorized by the court. Sorry, hang on. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 2:42 a.m., the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment G201 in Pullman, Washington, here after the Kohberger residence. So that's where he was living there. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provided coverage southeast of Kohberger residence, consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the Kohberger residence and traveling south through Pullman, Washington. This is consistent with movement of the white Elantra. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in an area without cellular coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. The 8458 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m. Okay, so there's some time that it's not. Okay. At which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow, Idaho near Blaine, Idaho north of, Genesee. Between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m., the phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway 95 to, I think it's Genesee, Idaho. Again, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Then traveling west towards Uniontown, Idaho, then north back to Pullman, Washington. So we're really mapping this guy's movements out. At approximately 5:30 a.m., the 8458 phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and consistent with the phone traveling back to the Kohberger residence. The 8458 phone's movements are consistent with the movements of the white Elantra that is observed traveling south on Stadium Drive at approximately 5:27 a.m. Based on the review of the 8458 phone's estimated locations and travel, the 8458 phone's travel is consistent with that of the white Elantra. So they're matching everything up here. Further review indicated that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022 that are consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the area of the Kohberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. Interesting there. The 8458 phone next utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling back to the area of the Kohberger residence and arriving to the area at 9:32 a.m. Below is a depiction, not to scale, so it's going to show, it kind of shows a possible route based off of what they were able to find, the signal bouncing off of towers and Investigators found that the 8458 phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, 2022. But investigators did not believe that the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. The 8458 phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. Based on my training experience and the facts of the investigation thus far, I believe that Kohberger, the user of the 8458 phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that the vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. Additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, and the lack of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 a.m. and 4:48 a.m. is consistent with Kohberger attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple homicide that occurred at the King Road residence. On December 23rd of 2022, I was granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI, which again is the cell phone location from June 23rd to 2022 to current prospective location information and a PIN register trap and trace on the 8458 phone to aid in efforts to determine if Kohberger stalked any of the victims in this case prior to the offense. Conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims' associates before and after the alleged offense, and any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred on November 13th, 2022, the location of the white Elantra registered to Kohberger, as well as the location of Kohberger. So they're really looking into, does he have any connections with these people? Was he stalking them? On December 23rd, 2022, pursuant to the search warrant, I received historical records for the 8458 phone from AT&T from the time the account was opened in June 2022. After consulting with the CAST special agent, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 2022 to present, the time period authorized by the court. The records for the 8458 phone show that the 8458 phone utilizing cellular resources that provided coverage to the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th, 2022. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. One of these occasions, on August 21st, 2022, the phone utilized cellular resources providing coverage to the King Road residents at approximately 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Kohberger was stopped at, this is when he was stopped by, Latah County Sheriff's Deputy CPL Corporal Duke, as mentioned above. The 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time. It says Farm Road and Pullman Highway as the location there when he got stopped. Further analysis of the cellular data provided showed the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho via U.S. Highway 195. At approximately 12:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand, located at 810 Port Drive in Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef's store, located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to that coffee place, Kate's Cup of Joe, showed a white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1 drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with cellular data from the 8458 phone. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of the Albertsons grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons showed Kohberger exit the white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1 at approximately 12:41 p.m. So they're able to match him up with the vehicle, match him up with the phone. They just have to get everything in line to get this guy. Interior surveillance cameras showed Kohberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items at the checkout, and then leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Kohberger's possible path of travel is depicted below. And again, they just show where he was possibly at based off of phone pings there. Okay, additional analysis of records for the 8458 phone indicated that Between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the phone utilized cellular resources that provided coverage to Johnson, Idaho. The 8458 phone then stops reporting to the network from approximately 5:36 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That is consistent with the 8458 phone being in the area that the 8458 phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time the homicides occurred. Very interesting. And technology can really uncover some things here. We're almost done, folks. On December 27, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence located in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The evidence was sent to Idaho State Lab for testing on December 28, 2022. The Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Based on the above information, I am requesting an arrest warrant to be issued for Bryan C. Kohberger, date of birth 11/21/1994, for burglary at 1122 King Street in Moscow, Idaho, and 4 counts of murder in the first degree for the murders of Madison, Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves. I'm so sorry, I should have read these names before I did this video. And Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin. I declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to the law of the state of Idaho that the foregoing is true and correct, and it's dated and signed. So, this whole thing is crazy. Again, if you're following the case, you kind of know what all's going on. I'm going to make another video on some of the behind the scenes stuff that's been going on, and I'll include some of the Reddit posts that Bryan Kohberger put up. I hate saying his name. I don't know. I wish that, media and YouTubers like myself, whatever, didn't say the name, but we kind of have to go that route. We have to point out these creeps, these people that do these horrible things. And I don't want to give them fame. I want to give them shame is what I'm trying to do here. These families need justice. These 4 people, they were so young and in the prime of their life. Well, they were just starting. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'll keep everybody updated as stuff comes in. If you're still hanging out, this was more just to I just want to read through this with everybody. So, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. It's long enough. So, I'm also working on a bunch of other videos, but it's slow going on this end due to a lot of research. I try to get all the facts that I possibly can to put together something to tell the story, so that we can prevent other people from going through these horrible acts if it's possible. Trying to figure out what the red flags were, what the heck happened, how did we get to this point, how do we prevent ourselves and our loved ones from being the next victim. Thank you and have a good day.